Hello again, everyone. I'm back. I'm here in Austin now. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different. You see, previously I was making videos on what I called the path, right? How to be your own person, your own God, how to find peace within yourself, those kinds of things. What I realized was that it's not easy for someone to find peace just by having me telling them what peace is, or the kinds of feelings that you have to get rid of to become quiet in your mind. So today I want to try something a little bit different. I want you to think about what you need in your life to become peaceful, instead of me telling you. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to two things that you will have to do for yourself to become successful, and more specifically, to live a good and happy and content life. I'm not saying you should be satisfied with where you are, wherever you are. I'm saying be content, but never satisfied. So the two things you really need to do, whatever your goals are to be ambitious and selfish. What does that mean? Ambition means you want something from life. You feel like life has a meaning and that it can give you something and that you can give life something in return. It means having a goal. It means chasing your dreams, whatever those may be. And then being selfish means that you will absolutely do whatever it takes to accomplish those dreams. Because accomplishing those dreams not only does something for you, not only does it provide meaning for you, but it will also provide something for other people to look up to. It'll make you a shining beacon for other people in the world. And that's what I mean by selfishness. It means don't let other people get in your way. Don't just fall down and lie there thinking that, all hope is lost. Don't give up on hope. Now, a lot of people look at selfishness as something negative or bad or to be avoided. And there are some kinds of selfishness that are to be avoided. For example, if you just concern yourself with making money for yourself or getting material items, cars, jewelry, promotions at work, contracts, whatever it is that you are out there trying to work for, that kind of selfishness can indeed drive you into a vicious spiral of just going around and around, never really accomplishing anything in life beyond just getting material things, which I feel like a lot of people will tell you is not that meaningful at the end of the day. However, there is a different kind of selfishness, which is actually not that different from being selfless or generous. And that's the selfishness that I was talking about. Being hungry, wanting to go chase your dreams, not letting other people stop you, not letting other people bring you down, not letting their feelings or their jealousies or their resentments or anger get in the way of you going after what is really meaningful to you. Because if you can go after the meaningful things in life, then you're probably doing something right. The meaningful things in life, to me at least, are the ones that provide value not just for yourself, but also to the rest of the world. And that brings you closer together to the rest of the world, and that makes you both selfish and selfless at the same time. So the big question that you need to answer is, what does success look like for you? For me personally, success means winning. And what does winning mean? It means getting to a place where what you have is something that you really appreciate and will last for a long time, maybe forever. For me, winning looks like being part of a world that really understands, that doesn't forget the pain that it went through, that really appreciates everything that happens, because it's all going to make you stronger, no matter if it's painful or joyful. But for you, that might look like something completely different. Now, success will probably be different for two different groups of people out there. The first group is people who are economically successful, and the second group, people who are economically not that well off, who are struggling to make ends meet. So I feel like the first group is the minority in the world. Most people in the world are still trying to get by, paycheck to paycheck. Now, if you're not economically secure, there are probably two questions that you really need to answer for yourself. First, are you satisfied with potentially starving or going homeless, depending on what kind of society you live in? If you live in the United States, for example, then not being economically secure will definitely land you on the streets eventually. If you live in some poorer country, for example, Peru, Laos, Azerbaijan, just putting some examples out there, then you may not already have a decent home in the first place, and being out of work or not being able to feed yourself will simply mean that's the end of the line for you. Now, I'm guessing your answer to the first question is no, you're not satisfied with starving or going homeless. And if you're not, then the second question you need to answer for yourself is how can you provide more value to society so that you won't go starving, you won't go homeless, so that you can get the things that you need. In a third world country, a lot of the times that will look like you're just gonna have to farm for yourself. You're going to have to get the land or the resources or whatever else you need to provide for yourself and your family. If you live in a more developed society, simply doing subsistence farming is not gonna be an option, because land is really expensive here and you're not really going to be able to acquire it with the resources that you have. So you have to do something else. You have to get a job. And the prospect of getting a job when you're already really poor and probably don't have that many valuable skills might seem pretty daunting. But like I said, if your answer to the first question was that you're not satisfied, then it is something that you are going to have to do. And the most important part about finding a job in this pretty crappy economy is that you can't really complain that much about what the job is. You just have to do it well. Because let's face it, out of 1,000 jobs out there, there's probably only going to be 1 or 2 that you would really enjoy. And those are going to be the jobs that probably are the least easy to come upon for someone in your situation. That's probably true for someone in any situation, actually. But the most important part about getting a job is that you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, to forget about your own troubles for a bit, and just give everything you have to provide value for other people. Once you do that, you will see success start to come your way. Because this is a shift in your mindset. Once you stop thinking so much about your own problems and start to shift your mentality towards solving other people's problems, then not only will you feel like your life is more meaningful, but you will also start to see success in all kinds of ways. You'll start to build relationships. You'll start to get money. Now, for the second group of people, the people who are economically already pretty well off, you've probably already had a decently successful career. You might be in a pretty well-paying job. You might be thinking that your career prospects are looking bright. You might already be planning to do the things in life that you really want to do. For example, travel or retire or build a home, raise livestock on a ranch, whatever it may be. You have to think about what those things look like in the long run. You have to think about what winning means for you in the long run. You have dreams now, that's for sure. And you probably have some or all of the financial resources to chase those dreams. But really make sure that when you go after those dreams, they are going to be something meaningful to you. I'm saying this mostly because I've seen a lot of people who achieve financial success never get off the hamster wheel. They'll never quit the rat race. They always think they need more money, power, possessions, better connections, better relationships, whatever it may be. They feel like even though they've come a long way, they still have to keep climbing. They're never content with where they are. So for those people, it's also a shift of mindset that is necessary. They have to realize that achieving more money, more power for themselves is probably not going to be a fulfilling experience. Because I've been there. A few years ago, I was investing in crypto. I did pretty well for myself. By investing in crypto, I increased my net worth by probably around $20,000, and it felt good at the time. After I really thought about what had happened, it did not really feel that meaningful to me. Because for me, money is just a tool, and having more tools isn't meaningful by itself. It's what you want to do with the tools, what kind of value you can create with those tools that really matters. So if you've managed to become financially successful in this world, the big question you need to answer is, what kind of meaning, what kind of value can you create with those resources that you have accrued? You have to decide what best way can you put that money to use in this world so that you can create something that's meaningful, something that is valuable, not just for yourself, but to other people. So no matter where you are in life, no matter which of those two groups you fall in, you have to make sure that you focus on the big picture. You have to have a goal that increases the harmony of the universe. Because if you're just looking to get rich, to become powerful, to have lots of pretty women in your life, that's not really doing anything for everyone else. And that's only going to prolong this vicious spiral of chaos and despair that a lot of people live in. In fact, that's probably the biggest problem with capitalism, is that it only helps a few people at the very top, and there's an ever-increasing number of people who are just stuck at the bottom, who are less and less able to provide for themselves. And this is a state of war that people are living in right now, and it makes everybody a loser. It makes everybody unhappy. However, if we can start to provide value for everyone else and start to see everyone as part of a whole, as part of ourselves as well, then that increases the harmony of the universe and changes a vicious cycle into a virtuous cycle, so that people can go from losing to winning, to seeing themselves as part of something bigger, to supporting each other and seeing each other as allies instead of enemies or people to be exploited. So no matter where you are in life, those are the things you need to do. You've got to be ambitious. You've got to be selfish. You have to be valuable to the world. You have to be able to see that everything is a system and you're part of it. And the easiest way to live is to go with the flow and support that system, to bring that system into a harmonious alignment. That's what I call meaningful. That's what I call success. That's what I call winning. And I think a lot of you might agree too. See you next time.